Hello everyone, onlydraven here again, and thank you so much for tuning in this week. This week, and I know I say this all the time, but I mean it, this week's video is going to be a little bit shorter. I don't have a whole lot to go into, and unfortunately I ran into a couple things this week, so we're going to make this one a little bit short. I want to start off with kind of a little bit of an announcement. Ever since I started posting these videos, I've done them every week, and I've always posted them on Wednesday. Now, when I started this process well back before the first video, I had a different work schedule, and back then I was off on Wednesdays every week. So Wednesday was just the middle of the week. It was the time that I just did my video because I was off that day. Since then I have changed my work schedule, and since then, and since I work Wednesdays now, it's been a bit harder to get home every night, hit the gym, then get home, film this, edit it, export it, get it all up on Facebook, or I'm sorry, YouTube, before I get a chance, before I have to go to bed. So I feel it's going out really late at night because of that. So starting next week, I'm still going to make the video every week, but I'm going to start releasing these on Fridays instead of Wednesday. So that minor schedule change is going to start next week. I'm still going to put them out every week. I'm just going to change my official weigh day, the day that I film it on Friday, since I'm off Fridays. That'll give me more time to be able to put into the videos. I felt sometimes here lately they've been a little rushed. As such, I've been able to do with them everything I wanted to. I'd like to start adding a little bit more special effects, add more pictures and things, and it's hard to do that in the short time frame I have on a work day. So moving this to Fridays will make it easier for me to be able to put it out earlier in the day and make a little bit higher quality content. I want to give you guys the best that I possibly can. So this will be the last week that I post this on a Wednesday. From this point moving forward, it'll be a Friday. So starting next week, it'll be a little bit more than a week when I weigh in. So I'll be putting it off a little bit longer than normal. So other than that announcement, I'm going to jump right into the video. We're just going to kind of talk about how the week went, and that's about it today, and then just a little bit of a minor boo-boo that I made working out. So we'll get right into that. So in this week's weekly check-in, let me start by apologizing for the lighting. The lighting that I used went out between the last segment and this segment, oddly enough, and it appears to be a short, not just a bulb problem, because replacing the bulb did not fix it. So apologize for the poor lighting this week. I'll definitely have that corrected by next week's video. So this week was a successful week, a little better than last week. It was a slow week. I try not to weigh but once a week. Once in a while I'll check on the weekends, and I wasn't seeing much progress in the first part of the week, but luckily it kind of caught up for me at the end. I successfully lost 2 more pounds this week. That's double last week. And that puts me down a total of 180 pounds, which is awesome. I always like to see that number going down, whereas the amount that I lose each week going up. The weight itself, I feel good still. No issues with that. It's been a week. Haven't had any real health issues. I've been sore, but that's from working out and a minor workout issue that I had I'm going to talk about in a moment. But the diet and everything's been pretty consistent. I haven't changed much. I've been adding a bit more fruit in. I've been craving fruit a little bit during my meals. I'm not really, like I said, still hungry per se. That still doesn't happen very often at all, but when I find I am eating the food, I still feel a little bit of craving. So I'm kind of wanting some fruit. So with my breakfast, I have added in more pineapple. Got a good deal on some pineapple, and I've added that to the cottage cheese and such that I eat for breakfast. And then I've been eating a bit more salads as well. I've been using grilled chicken in the salads to make sure I get my protein. And I prefer Caesar, so I found a very low-fat, light Caesar dressing, which I have to go a little scarce on, but the taste is still really good with it. So salads have been a big staple of my dinner, and the breakfast has been adding the fruit in. For lunch, I've still been sticking with tuna a lot, but now that I found that high-protein, low-carb bread, I've been doing sandwiches. I'm doing some lean turkey and lean ham sandwiches, a little bit of light mayonnaise, and a bit of bread that helps me get my carbs in, because I'm still normally low on my carbs. I don't do much in the way of carbs. Fat is still my challenge, not just physically, but in keeping my fat count down. So that's really the number I have to watch the most, that and striving to hit my protein goals. But carbs is not too bad. unless it's a week that I eat out. So I'm going to talk about a pro and a con of the past week. The con, I'm going to jump into first because I screwed up. I messed up a little bit. As I've mentioned before, I've started working out and doing some weight training. In this past week, I made my video on Thursday night, I work out, and then the schedule I had myself on, I had to go Friday. Well, I had a lot of errands to do on Friday, so I went right back to the gym Friday morning after working out Thursday night. And Friday was leg day. Excuse me. It was my first real hardcore leg day that I've done. I've used some machines that I had not ever used before. So, as I've mentioned, when you're starting off with something new, sometimes it's hard to know to judge exactly what you're capable of. And I misjudged. Going at night and then right back in the morning, and then I kind of overdid myself at the gym doing legs, and I hurt myself a little bit. I pulled a muscle or strained something because it was a little quite painful, especially with my legs and just hips in general. And at first I thought, well, it's just me working out. But it hurt drastically more than when I first started working out with, upper body. That I expected the soreness. This was straight up pain. To add stupidity to insult and injury, the next morning, Saturday morning, my wife and I participated in a charity walk for suicide prevention. It's something that was very important to her and myself. It's the first one we've participated in. First time I've been healthy enough that I could participate in a walk of anything. So there's a pro slid in the middle of that con. But Saturday morning, as sore as I was, we still went to the walk. And while the walk itself was not strenuous, there was a good deal of standing up on cement, while everybody was doing speeches and stuff leading up to the walk. Then there was the walk itself, then there was standing up afterwards, through the end of the ceremonies. By the time I got home, I could barely move the bottom half of my body, and I've been barely able to walk for the past 4 or 5 days. So I have pulled and strained something. As such, I've had to limit my working out this week while I've let that heal. I'm feeling today's the best I've felt in a while. I feel pretty good. I should be back to the gym again tomorrow, but I did have to take a few days off for pushing myself too far. So there's your gym tip for the week. When taking on any type of new exercise program or anything in general, make sure you don't bite off more than you can chew. If you're not sure what you're capable of, start at the lowest and work your way up. You try something and it's too easy, you can always get harder. But don't assume just because a number looks small, when you're looking to lift or push or whatever your gym lifting machine does, just because the number looks small doesn't mean it is. Especially if it's something new and you may be working muscles that normally don't get a lot of workout. And I'm not much of a guy who moves, clearly. I did not get big because I like exercise. So working muscles, leg day, I worked out some stuff I don't know I've pushed in a long time. At least not since I was younger and I played hockey and had to skate all the time. So a little sore from that, feeling better now, but I did make a mistake and push myself a little bit too hard too quickly. So I'm having to pace back a little bit. I definitely want to continue working out, and I want to continue to see the success and the gains from that, but I definitely don't want to hurt myself. All of this is to get better, not to get worse. So that was my con. Pro, I have discovered yet another place to add to my ability to eat out. Okay? I don't eat out very often, usually once every week or 2 weeks. It's kind of a special thing my wife and I like to do on our one day really together. Our schedules are very opposite, so Friday or Saturday is usually our day together. And so that'll be the day we grab something. And normally we're limited to Taco Bell or, sometimes get the grilled chicken nuggets at Chick-fil-A, which is a restaurant down in my area. But we don't get a lot of other variety in that. A lot of times she does. I'll go get her whatever she wants, but I get stuck eating the same couple of things. So always looking for something new. And this week we went to a restaurant that is down here in the south of the United States called Buddy's Barbecue. Now, for those of you who are not in the South, or even in America, barbecue can mean a lot of different things to a lot of different people. Where I'm from up in Canada, a barbecue is a device that is outside that you cook on. You barbecue food. Moving down here, barbecue is considered a food, and the thing that we barbecue on is called a grill, which is technically not a grill. A grill is a flat metal item that grills. This flame broils, which is why Burger King has the flame broiled Whopper, which looks like it's on a barbecue. Okay, so a little bit of clarification for those of you who have trouble with words. So, but down here, barbecue is a food item, even though barbecue can be one of multiple food items. You have barbecue pork, barbecue chicken, usually pulled, which means it's from the bones, usually all shredded up. You can get ribs. You can just get whole pieces or chunks of chicken. If it's got a barbecue sauce involved down here, they just call it all barbecue. But I like to refer to it as specific things. So Buddy's Barbecue is a restaurant that has all of those things I just named. And they have different combo meals. And what I got was a pulled pork meal. So it was shredded pork with a little bit of their barbecue sauce. And checking their nutritional information and research, I found it really isn't that bad. The fat content is very low. It's actually lower on the pork than it is the chicken for some reason. So I elected to get the pork. Now, side dishes is where you get screwed. Side dishes are what kill you. Hush puppies, which are just basically balls of deep fried dough, which, depending on whether you like them or not, French fries, all that kind of stuff is bad. You know, high carb, fattening, deep fried grease. So most of the standard sides that I used to eat at a restaurant like that, I could not have. I elected to add a coleslaw, and they offer pickles, dill pickles as a side, which has almost nothing negative in it at all. So it was really nice to be able to go somewhere different. We got that, brought it home, watched some Star Trek Discovery, which just came out, a new TV show, and spent a little time together enjoying food and watching shows. So that was awesome. It was nice to be able to add an extra restaurant. So if you're in an area that has barbecue of the nature of which I've described, that's definitely something to look to adding into your diet. Again, like any eating out meal, even though some are better than others, they're still higher than what you're going to make at home in your protein, in your fats, in your carbs. So be sure if you're going to do that, you plan ahead so that your other meals aren't going to combined are not going to take you over your limits. So be very aware of what you're going to do. Try to plan that out ahead of time. Spur of the moment happens sometimes. Sometimes you're out and you have to. Maybe an emergency happens. You're at a hospital or you're stuck out somewhere. You're not going to be able to get home to the food that you normally prepare. You know, having these options are great. But anytime you can pre-schedule it and make sure you work it into your daily allowance of your protein, fats, and carbs and calories, depending on the diet you're on, you're always going to benefit more being able to do that. So, other than that, I don't have a whole lot to report this week. Other than, like I said, good week, feeling good. Got some compliments, ran into some people that I haven't seen in a while, and they were just kind of blown away by how much weight I'd lost. And sometimes, you know, I still feel different. So it's nice to meet someone who's like, holy smokes, you look almost like a different person. It's a very exhilarating and positive feeling. And if you've not felt that yet, you will. Definitely. Going through this process, you're only going to continue to see more and more change to the positive. So definitely stick with it and look for those happy moments when they come and appreciate them for what they are. With that, I'm going to go ahead and kind of cut this one short this week. Thank you so much, everyone who watches every week. Be sure to check out my website. Link down here. I always say link. It's not a link. It's just the address. You're going to have to type it. Clicking on the screen only pauses the video. I shouldn't have to explain this, but I'm going to do it for you. You can't just click on it. You have to take that and type it in the address bar. Okay. And this is my Patreon site. If you're interested in learning more about Patreon, be sure to check that out as well. Starting here in the next couple weeks, I'm going to be adding some new content to my channel. It's not all really bariatric related. If you're into fantasy or science fiction or even things like Dungeons & Dragons and stuff, I'm going to start doing a Dungeons & Dragons fantasy story series. It won't be, you know, in this blog, but it will be something I'm going to start posting probably weekly as well. So definitely, if you're into something like that, keep an eye out for it. I'll be announcing it probably the end of October before that gets out. Because I've got to I'm setting up a little better way to film that. So keep an eye out if that's something you're interested in. Follow me on my social medias. All those links to those can be found on my website or in the description of this video. Please be sure to like the video if you enjoyed it. And most importantly, please subscribe. Definitely helps me out and helps you be able to keep up with all my new content. So thank you so very much for watching today. And I hope you have a good week.